everybody. So this will be the last panel discussion for this term. So let's try to end it well. So as you can see, these are the cities. Well, prior to this, we were supposed to separate all of you, but it's okay. As long as you identify yourself with either the north or the south, then we're okay. Okay, the north. Who identifies with the north here? Okay, who identifies with the south? Okay, south.
Manila. South.
Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so for the evaluation forms, these are our names. For the evaluation forms, may I just remind you, Christmas is coming. Okay. So this is just a reminder. For this panel discussion, we will not be assuming any personalities for this date. That's why our panelists over here, our one for panelists, are in their own attire and their very from where they came from and who they really are now. Okay? Because we are not assuming any personalities. As for my case, I have to be different. So, Titos of Manila. Okay, for the selection of the topic, we select this topic because we noticed we wanted to deviate from the seriousness of past panels and other discussions. So, hopefully you'd enjoy this panel discussion. Okay. So, it's been this topic of ours, which is about the North and the South. It's in a way relevant because sometimes you have these conversations within your friends. But it's so far, I hopefully, I'd like to believe that this has never been discussed in a group setting, like a classroom. Okay, and hopefully we'll be able to understand where the people are coming from, why they act that way, and what can we do after we learn all of this. And just a disclaimer, our panelists are telling what they will be saying, the information that they have researched on. Okay, so we'll be okay with that. So, and this is not just an ordinary panel discussion. This is an immersive and very comparative panel discussion. So, if you have anything to say, just raise your hand, and I'll be happy to entertain you. Okay. So this will. Okay. So we are to some extent. So besides the 17 cities of Metro Manila, we to some extent will be actually having a scope of Mega Manila, Bulacan, Rizal, Cavite, Laguna. Okay. Are you ready, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. We'll be learning a lot today. Okay. So actually, first, everybody, we'll start first with the stereotypes because usually that's where it actually starts, no? And let me just ask Mr. Joaquin, okay, because I think he has some thoughts on the stereotypes. But before that, we'll go with the stereotypes. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Most of the stereotypes I know of are more on fashion-wise. Like we all get the stereotype na if you're coming from the north, you're more of Tagalog speaking, you're more relaxed. Pero if you come from the south, this is just a like general assumption for different people. Everyone might know this, but South people are more English speaking. I'm just saying, don't worry. I'm just saying, South from the South. Not everyone from the South, but as a general observation, not just from me, but from other people as well. Anyway, I'll talk about fashion in general, not the general stereotype. So I'll talk about fashion. So fashion in general is really just what we feel like wearing, what we think looks good on us, what we feel suits us well. But I just want to stress the fact that this is general observations from different people, not just my assumptions, not just me assuming or like generalizing people. So I would like to see North and South kids as a polo, dog six polo. You have the relaxed fit and you have the slim fit polo. For North kids, I would like to see that they're the relaxed fit. They're more laid back, I guess because of commuting, because of the hustle and bustle of the city. their culture is pretty much relaxed, laid back. I can attest to that because when I go, let's say when I go to the mall, I don't want to dress up like insanely like nice polo, nice jacket and stuff. I just really want to wear shorts, just have sneakers and just a shirt. Right? And that's true. That comes to the fact that in North people are more open and free. But when I say South kids, I say that they're more of the slim fit type of people. I say that they don't just want to dress up; they want to look good. It also comes from their culture. Like if you notice their areas, like say BGC, you see Liga, you see ATC, and sometimes the Palms Country Club. They're all pretty proper, they're pretty preppy in the thing nila. So like let's say, if North people resolve to just simply maybe jersey shorts and a t-shirt and some sneakers, South kids would pretty much wear a polo, short board shorts, or just Ralph Lauren shorts and loafers. And like I said, yes, it's the same that both North and South people are very open and free. But when it comes to South kids, they like to take that level to another level.
South kids, we have South kids here.
Yes.
South kids.
Do you guys want to get in?
Where are you guys from?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Hey, Alabama.
Oh, we have any South kids here? Oh, hi. Where are you from? That's good to know. Anyway, in Paranaque, do you have any colloquial term for Paranaque? You just call home home.
Yes.
PQ. Because we have actually there are a lot of terms from the North and South which are exclusive to them.
There's a mall in Alabang Town Center. North kids call it TTC, South kids call it town.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And in relation to that now, we will we'll give you some more terms which are exclusive to them. So we have Mrs. Spirito here. She has some terms that as to why.
So first of all, please don't hate me because these are just from research, and I've also asked some friends what they think about South and North people. So these are their answers. So first off, for the South, they said that South has more chill vibes, which I think affects the way people speak. Since there are more trees, so you feel more you feel more comfortable. So that aside from that, people are of high quality of living, or as they call it, social. So most of the time, that affects the way they speak. And then some of the words they mentioned to me, my friends, and from research as well, are that people use their dates or hey or what's up. And then they also use the dude and pare, like parang, and then most of the time it has a twang compared to the usual Konya time. And then another thing is that when friends tell you that brunch is in SM or in Robinson, since that's of course in North and then the people are from South, they would usually say na, oh suddenly I can't, I'm sick. Or that, wala pala akong driver today, sorry. Diba? Kasi most of the time, people from South only have car for transportation since they don't have much of jeepneys and the like there. And then, malapit lang translates into a 15 or 20-minute car ride to the nearest supermarket or convenience store. So that's how their life is there. And then, this one in relation to what you mentioned a while ago, ATC for others is just ATC, but for the people from South, it's town. Yeah, and then aside from that, they have this thing called the Fairview joke. Since Fairview is in North, so for South people, that's Fairview. Yeah. And then aside from that, South has already become a proper noun. So as you can see right now in this discussion, we use it as a proper noun, South people, and then as well as for North people, North people. And then there, we can see that the straight English that South people are adapting is mostly because of the location they are in. Let's say, for example, for BGC and Taguig, there are a lot of foreigners. So that explains why most people from there are speaking in straight English. And then there, since most most people from South have English as their first language. You know, their helpers and their yayas as well do speak in English compared to other locations, like let's say in North. So that's why their helpers are very good in communication, even in English. So then, on the other hand, for the North people, I've discovered that Quezon City, it's from North, right? It has a large English-speaking population, since English is the language of instruction as well for schools and businesses.
Because most of the universities are there.
Yeah.
Institutions.
Ateneo is there. Yeah.
Aaron.
I'm also in Ateneo. Yeah.
Have you encountered that term? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then aside from that, they mentioned that for North people, they are more focused on speaking in either straight Filipino or straight English. So no much on the, language swap or something like that. So even in text, they avoid abbreviations. And then there, let's meet halfway doesn't mean meet me in fourth, because fourth is in Taguig, and that's south, more south part. Like diba kanina I mentioned, Farview is the joke for south. But for north, when they say meet in fourth, that's actually far from them, so that's not halfway. And then there, another thing is that since in Quezon City there are a lot of venues for parties and the bars as well, my friends told me that that somehow affected the way people speak. So people have become more aggressive, and they're more wild. And then if in South they're more chill, in North they're more nah bro, dude, chong, pre. It's because they're aggressive. Their culture is more of lively compared to South. And then there's the defensive uptight speaking, mostly in Pasig. And they've also mentioned, not me, them, that cursing is much more prevalent in North. There you go. Sorry, that's not me. Alright.
Just to get through the hustle and bustle of
Yeah.
the city
And then,
life.
just some more thing. If in South it's the ATC, they call it town. They told me that in North, UP Town Center is actually called by non-North people as uptown, when it's supposed to be UP Town. And then there. But another thing interesting in North is that their places are actually named after, regarding a person or a specific historic event. Like for example, let's say they have this Retiro street now, NS Amorata Street. It was actually because churches gave where priests spent their days in reflection were there before. And then another thing, you know naman the Maginhawa, yeah, the place where a lot of wood. I researched that it was actually the teachers' village, and the streets are actually after moral values and virtues of ideal teachers. Like let's say matalino, magalang, masipag.
Oh yeah, there are some streets which are okay.
Yeah, mabait.
So, anybody from the north?
Mabagin.
From north, have you encountered, especially Maginhawa? What do you call it? Oh, you? What term do you say, Maggie? Is there any short term?
Maginawa pa rin.
Oh, Maginhawa. Okay.
It's pretty much in relation to the manner of speaking and common terms from South.
Okay, so before we continue, I'll be giving out some, because I do have some questions for all the audience. If you can answer it's very interesting to know these types of information. By the way, the back that we have is featuring BGC, just so you know. Okay, let me ask, does anybody know the shoe capital of the Philippines? Marikina. Okay, raise your hand then. Okay, do you know where's the entertainment capital of the Philippines? Oh, that's a different kind of entertainment. No one wants to try? It's within Metro Manila, don't worry. Pasay? Actually, yes. That is what I asked. Why? The entertainment city is there. The casinos are there. Okay, entertainment city. Besides that, Mo Arena is there. At the same time, they call Pasay City the gateway of the Philippines. Why is that? If you can tell me, you get more candy. Okay, I saw him first. So, okay, that's interesting. Because, of course, people can't go back to the Philippines if they have to pass through Pasay. Okay? Okay, the financial capital of the Philippines.
Pasig.
I'll just give you candies later. Communication capital, does anybody know? No. It's Quezon City. Why? Because most of the radio stations, TV stations are there. They also call Quezon City City of the Stars. Of course, ABS-CBN, GMA, they're all there. At the same time, there's a very interesting one that I was very amazed. I was even wow with my computer. What is they call this the Emerald City? The Emerald City. Yes, it's Alabang. It's in Muntinlupa.
Yeah.
They call Muntinlupa City Emerald City. Why? Because if you will look back at the map, let's look at the map. Muntinlupa is the farthest end. They say back in the day you would see fields of yellow. So when you go down the road, you would see all the buildings as you go down the road go up and rise, like the Emerald City in the movie. Okay? Let's continue. Now you know. Oh, this is featuring what is this? Quezon City Circle. So we're talking about the environment. So I'll just ask Miss Kay, because she has thoughts on this. She's a lot.
Now we're going to talk about the environment, establishment center. Another part of Metro Manila was and still is the traditional suburbia. If you feel that QC and the neighboring cities have a laid back or seem somewhat laid back, it's because many of the areas in the cities are suburban sectors, and it's no surprise when you think about it that entertainment and food choices are quite varied. Quezon City is the largest city of metropolitan Manila, which is an urban agglomeration of 16 cities and one municipality. This region is the political, economic, social, cultural, and educational center of the Philippines. Quezon City is the Philippines' largest service economy with more than 58,000 registered businesses engaged in wholesale and retail. It is a shopping haven with more than 28 shopping complexes scattered throughout the city. And it has a number of mixed-use, 24-hour communities with businesses, residential condominiums, restaurants, and malls in integrated developments. And many, if not most, of the Metro's residents are familiar with the commercially strong city. And after all, Quezon City houses iconic government offices, educational institutions, and commercial establishments. And landmarks like EDSA Shrine, Camp Aguinaldo, UP Diliman, Ateneo de Manila, and for leisure, they have SM North EDSA, Trinoma, Araneta Center, Robinson's Magnolia, SM Mega Mall, EDSA Siam, and conveniently, as you said, a lot of main broadcast stations are in the Philippines. Now, the southern part of Metro Manila is expected more urban in mannerisms and culture. Don't believe the northern bias that southerners are rough around the edges. Southerners may be less laid back, but that's because they hustle more. Well, particularly those who live in the city, because they're actually living in the city. And in these cities, when it comes to southern living, it's more, as what they said, it's more chill, laid back, and there's always a corner sari-sari store, a nearby marketplace, a mall within a walking distance from home, and pretty much isolated from the rest of the civilized world. The South is much more laid back because there's nothing much to do in the first place. Chores are handled by paid helpers, we have yayas, drivers, everything, and everything is within arm's reach. Manila is left with few parcels of land to develop, but it's a good thing that in the South, everything is maximized to create mixed use and diversified communities. Alabang in particular is quickly becoming the gold standard for this diversity in the South. while styled as an optimized business park, Alabang has an abundance of grassy open areas, park-style public spaces, upscale malls, upscale condominiums, and popular establishments in the south include Alabang Town Center, Festival Alabang, Greenbelt, Parkland Mall, Shayla SM Aura. Another hotspot is BGC, Fort.
Oh yeah.
These upscale condominiums is believed to be the perfect housing spot for mistresses of notable personalities.
Oh yeah,
You
did you hear
agree?
about that? Oh yes, I have heard about that. Would you agree? Miss Kane was saying that they say that most prominent people, especially congressmen, senators, businessmen,
That's where they usually house their
their
Where is
mistresses
that? Where is that?
in
in BGC in one of the condominiums, which we will not disclose for this panel.
And besides that, it's the perfect place to hang out with the family. And after a family dinner, you probably want to party. And there's plenty of choices, but most people like to throw parties in the comforts of their own home. And it's the only go-to option because it provides the fix if people aren't down to party in BGC. And while this only happens in special occasions, house parties in Alabang offer a different experience. It's relaxed, it's laid back, and it's intimate. You guys agree? People from Alabang. And in the educational aspect, the South has its plethora of international schools found in the thriving districts of Bonifacio Global City and McKinley Hill. Children of expatriates and notable personalities in the country go to these educational institutions. And some of these include International School Manila, British School Manila, and Chinese International School Manila.
Okay, so that would also relate to why most the expats live in the south, right?
Yes.
Because they pass their children are international schools.
Now, in conclusion, when you really come down to it, the North versus South rule is really a lot about cultural and historical biases based on the old suburban versus urban argument. But from a realistic perspective, however, one shouldn't be surprised that the North offers more variety. After all, rent and other costs of businesses is relatively cheaper in the North. And with all the businesses and large companies making their home in Makati and southern areas, only establishments and businesses with serious capital and quality for the price point will be able to survive. And for the next topic,
Okay. So
which is also about environment, we're talking about health hazards.
oh yes, because actually our panelist, Ms. Rochelle over here, you come from the north, right?
Yeah.
And you have something to say about especially the pollution in the
I
north.
have lots of brands.
So, could you share us that?
Okay, so, well, based on statistics, in 2016, 80% of the air pollution is coming from transportation. And as we can notice, like lots of the transportation, like LRTs and MRTs, marami more on north kaysa sa south. Like it's much reachable, I guess. And then 12% of premature death in Metro Manila is caused by air pollution also. So maraming sakit, like diseases that we can get from air pollution, like respiratory diseases, stroke, heart diseases, and diabetes. So actually, Metro Manila is very polluted. So in 2013, the air pollutant concentration in NCR reached around 130 micrograms per normal cubic meter. And the normal one, this maximum safe level would be around at 90, and we're already at 130. So that's very dangerous. So a lot of the Filipinos now are more health conscious and they want to live a greener lifestyle. So some cities have taken different stands in what they're gonna do to help alleviate the air pollution. So like for example, QC, they were the first city to minimize the use of excess plastic. And then in Makati, they also used electric jeepneys, which is called the e-jeepney, which started in 2008. And they run on rechargeable batteries, so they don't run on the fossil fuels, and to minimize carbon footprints. So they also passed the City Resolution number 2008-056, which is a daily Earth hour. So like in Makati, around 8:30 they would close the lights like for lampposts, public buildings, barangay halls, and for businesses in the Makati Business District, they all have to turn off the lights for like an hour. Yeah. But it's a daily earth hour. And then, so they also participated in the plastic ban in 2013, so they use paper bags instead. In BGC naman, it's more clean because in every morning they have this system of collecting the garbage disposal.
Yes, they
Rather
give it
than
to
like,
everybody.
yeah, rather like, for example, in Caloocan, it's like once a week lang. Sometimes hindi dumarating. Yeah.
It's okay, we feel your pain.
So yun. And then, as you notice, like, it's clean. You don't see much pipelines in BGC. It's because the pipelines and everything are underground. And then, so like what Miss Kay said earlier, it's much more polluted than also in the north because the rent and cost of businesses is much cheaper in the north. So factories and offices are located in the north. Like in my area, mga kapitbahay ko, it's all factories. And when you go out of the house, Caloocan. So it's all trucks and everything. So it's always traffic. And when you see like the south, it's more suburban, so mas maraming ang trees. It is much parang mga village feels, gano'n, kaysa sa north. And then, so you can also say for the drainage system, yung sa north, it's much worse. Like, it's more prone to floods, especially in QC and in Manila. And also actually Marikina, because the land of Marikina is much lower compared to the other cities. Yeah. And then, for the fault lines man, so for earthquakes, a lot of people also more prone to danger in the north. Because in the fault lines, there are more houses located on the fault lines in the north rather in the south where they go around. So if pag may earthquake, mas maraming houses affected.
Okay, I think I get you there, Miss. Let's go back to the map. Because the fault line is at the east side, right? The east side of the Metro Manila. It's here, everybody. Here, this side. This side. So, the fault line, yes, it does pass through the south, but the fault line in the south, there's not much houses there. But when the fault line passes through the north already, there are many houses actually on top of the fault line, right?
Kasi mas
I heard
crowded
about
sa
that.
north.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, that was interesting, everybody. So, yes, because I don't know if you noticed, just to just to get her point across, because there are many factories in the south, right?
Yeah.
And why do you think the north is mostly polluted? Well, because if you look at the map, right, we have northeast winds. When the winds go down from the northeast, they go this way. So all, okay, and we have Bulacan and Rizal here. So when the winds go to the direction, even the smog goes with it. I don't know if you know that, but now you know. Okay, let's go. So next, we'll be talking about the lifestyle. So we'll be talking about the people, alright? So with the lifestyle, okay, just a short thing. This is, who knows this? This Makati. Makati, especially this one, these Paseo de Rojas and Ayala Ave, they used to be, and Makati Ave, they used to be airport runways because the first airport in the Philippines is located here, at that area. Okay, that's all. So for the lifestyle, we'll actually talk about the transportation because some people from the north, they might have struggles, and we have Miss Tovis for that. She has something about it.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about the differences of how the north and south people travel to get around the city, maybe it be for work, for school, or just to attend a party on the other side of Manila. So people from the south, they dread driving anywhere past Makati. It's not that their driving skills are not good or they don't know how to drive in the certain areas. It's just physically impossible for them to navigate around the north. And the driving around the Rotonda, the Quezon City Circle, Yeah. And it's known for a lot of accidents with trucks, underage drinking, driving, and then it really scares me. And it's a mortal sin to it's a mortal sin to ride the cab in the south because of the high fixed rates, and the only modes of transportation is either your car, you walk, or the occasional village tricycles and the Alabama Zapata jeeps. So in short, in the south, if you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere. Basically, it's that. I asked this my friend who's from the south. Apparently, they don't ride jeepneys there.
Oh, they don't?
Yeah, they don't ride jeepneys because apparently South people can't take the heat. They said they don't like getting sweaty.
Oh.
Yeah, so they have a solution for this. They have a solution for this. They have aircon jeepneys, aircon FX, and shuttles that can take them to any point of their destination. So for people who live down the south but hold offices in Makati, they only live by two words: UV Express. So even though it's cramped, you have to line up for it. They don't have a choice. They only have a UV Express. It defeats the government subsidized modes of transportation that other parts of Metro Manila enjoy and suffer from. So, and also, they don't pass EDSA. The only roads that they pass is the SLEX and Skyway. But of course, toll. They South people, since they have cars, they usually during at night they do run the hits.
Oh, run the hits. Tell us about that.
It's called riding a car with the windows down, upbeat music, and they just feel like it gives that sense of being infinite, like in the perks of being a wallflower, like Charlie. Yeah, they are fond of that, even though they're disturbing the neighbors. They just do that just to waste gas. And lastly is most Alabama families have at least two cars, but in a place where vehicles are absolutely necessary. The really rich have a car for every person in the family. So the dad has a sports car, the mom has an SUV, ate has a smaller car than mom. It may or may not come with a driver, and Kuya has a bigger and flashier car than ate, and a school service for the elementary ones. So that's it for the South
Let me ask the audience, who has to adjust when there are group works? Oh, let's meet somewhere for a group work. What's to adjust, the North and the South? The South has to adjust more. The South.
There's a one where we are.
North.
Everyone.
Okay. So a while ago we talked about the assumptions on fashion, and now we'll be trying to figure out why do they really, because sometimes there is a reason as to why people dress this way, some people dress this way, and we have Miss Yao for that.
So I'm here to talk about the terms of fashion choices between North and South people. So first, North, as covered, it's a suburbanized area, and then South is more of urbanized because of the different
Choices.
Establishment that they have. So their fashion choices, it usually doesn't really differ a lot, no? Because what we wear is what we are. So these are all based on our personalities. But of course, between provinces and for us Manileños here, there's a really big difference. So for North, they're usually more of the casual because they're fond of commuting and walking, and they're more laid back. And then on South, they wear anything office style or the common guy's outfit, which is the button down, polo shirt, and
Yeah, well,
like what he's wearing right now. You know? And then, why do South people dress like this? It's because their lifestyle is basically work and play. So with work, because most of the business district are in South, like Makati and BTC, most of the corporate offices. And play because most of the famous bars are located in South, like Valkyrie Pool Club, like that. And then for their shopping habits, everything from North must be cheaper because the lifestyle there is suburbanized. So they have Divisoria, Evermall,
which has been
V-Mall, and so mga more on Changi style. And then on South area, they have big malls, Alabang, BGC, like that. And then they have these cheaper alternatives, but they're like lifestyle boutiques. Do you know that? Those Instagram shop, they sell in a one boutique, parang ganon. And then, so by Dr. Baumgartner, he said that shopping and spending behaviors often come from internal motivations such as emotions, experience, and culture. So that's why people dresses more casually because they are more time conservative. With that time conservative, if you go to the north, you can see that their place, they're more of this parang beer house style. So that's their parang play. Unlike in South, they have bars. Bars and clubs. So with this, people sometimes use clothes and accessories both as tool where you fit in and weapons against each other. That's why fashion is now being used as a social marker. So with that, we make barriers with different people like, oh, taga North ka, taga South ka. So if taga North, they say like, hey, poor, taga South is rich, like that.
Sad reality.
But also by Dr. Baumgartner, he said that the truth is no piece of lifestyle will make a person look successful, but we should create a positive image. So his tip here is always to wear the classics, so you won't get easily judged, no? Because right now with stereotyping, our topic, stereotyping, we now have the tendency to make snap judgment that makes sense to our economic values. So that's why we need to stop stereotyping because this doesn't do anything good to us. This doesn't do anything to our economy. We just make ourselves feel worse. And yun nga, because we use this as a tool sometimes for weapon against each other. So there's this famous line from the TV series that I watch. New Yorkers are genetically engineered to dislike everywhere except Manhattan. So they say that South people are like this now because they feel like they're living the life, they're living the city because everything is extravaganza.
They're just in one close. So,
I say that's kind of like our generation here also.
I guess.
So I know people have their own bubble, some people have their own bubble, like kind of
That's a sad reality of what we have today, especially in our generation. Because especially when we are with our friends, we don't really notice it, but sometimes it comes across through our actions and words in our thoughts. And so with that, I'd like to thank our panelists, everybody. Okay, so hopefully this would start a conversation between not only within the classroom, but between your friends, between each other, and between people you meet. Because sometimes you don't really have to judge anybody by the way they look or what. At least this panel discussion paved way for your understanding for everybody that you'll meet in the future. Okay? Because I don't know if you noticed, our topic is not the North versus the South. It's the North and the South because in the end we are still one metropolis. Okay? We are still one metropolis. We are still one Metro Manila. And with that, hopefully this will inspire you to accept each and everybody and understand and try to at least make an effort as to why someone would act this way, someone would act that way. And with that, thank you very much for thank you for the term, thank you miss. Thank you for listening. Thank you.